Hannah, great to see you as always. Under the arches, the train's rolling past in South London. You smiling? You're in a good place in life, aren't you?
Yeah, no, really, really good. Just finished training and feeling great. Can't wait for my fight on the 26th. I'm really looking forward to getting under those lights, putting on a good show for everybody, and having a great fight.
Boxing is the key part of your life at the moment. I know that there are many other facets, many other interests, but it's all about the fight game at the moment, and I guess the comeback and the relaunch again of Hannah Rankin.
Absolutely, yeah. So my main focus is obviously getting that third world title for Scotland. That's what I'm driving towards. It's my main goal, and I'm working really hard towards that. So this is that first step in that direction on the 26th, and then we're onwards to world titles.
So it's Liverpool, Friday the 26th of April.
Yes.
Who are we fighting? What do we expect? What sort of night are we going to get?
Going to have an explosive performance. I'm fighting Grace Makameli. She's from Tanzania, and we're fighting for the WBA Continental title. So nice little title on the line for this one, but really for me, it's about getting out there and putting on a really good performance.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone, I guess, back, isn't it, towards a hopeful world title shot towards the end of the year. What are the plans for that? Because you always seem to be in the big fights. Somehow you manage to take all the big names on, don't you?
Absolutely. The super welterweight division is stacked, as always. There's always some really exciting fights out there. Obviously, Terri Harper, she's still the WBA super welterweight champion, so I'd love that rematch. That's something I'd love. I'd love my rematch with Emma Kozin, but we'll see what she's doing. I think she's got a mandatory fight to deal with, first of all. And then, of course, there's Femke Herms as well, and she's sitting there with the IBO and the IBF. So, like I said, the division is stacked, but there's some great fights out there for me, and I'm really raring to get back in the mix.
There's opportunities and there's stories as well with the rematches. That's what we love in boxing.
Absolutely. A good rematch is always, you can build it. It's great for people to talk about. It's exciting, and you can get in there and just really put on a show. So, a rematch is something that's great to build on and work towards.
I know you've been sparring with Chantel Cameron. We've been talking about that as well. She's disappointed to lose out on the trilogy with Katie. These things happen in boxing, but there's so much attention now, isn't there, on the females? There's so many cracking fights, cracking matches, and terrific tales.
Absolutely. There's so many people talking about female fighters these days. It's like we're household names, and that's so exciting, because when I first started boxing, most people were going, oh, what do you want to do that for? Lady boxing, all this sort of stuff. People don't care about women's boxing. And now fast forward to where I am now, and women are household names, and we have lots of young eyes looking up at us, and there's girls following in our footsteps and wanting to become world champions as well. And that's so empowering, and it's so exciting. And I'm really proud to be at the forefront of that change. And hopefully in years to come, when I look back, I'm going to be really proud of what I achieved at that time.
Yeah, you're all the posters, aren't you, for the young girls who are thinking we can do anything. I think that's important. I've got two daughters, for example. My youngest does a bit of boxing, and Katie Taylor's been up on the wall. And I think obviously with Tasha this year, we've just seen Sandy Ryan and Sky out in the States. There's so many great stories. It's fantastic. And it's taken time, but it's now, it's girl power, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what, that's exciting. And we're seeing a lot more women involved in all areas of the boxing world. We've got female promoters, female managers, we've got female commentators, and all of the people that are starting to get involved in this, all these women, they're all passionate about the sport of boxing. And that's amazing to see. And I think it's a real development in the media side of things, as well as the actual fighting side of things as well. Because people want to see women out there doing these roles so they can go on one day and do it themselves. So, I always am a big fan of that see her, be her sort of hashtag. And it's something I use a lot. And I really, truly do believe you see people doing things that you want to do, you've got more inspiration to go and do it yourself.
I think it's absolutely fabulous. I've had the pleasure of commentating alongside Michaela Mayer, which was terrific. And then Raven Chapman, recently out in Saudi on the AJ and Ghana bill. And I know Raven is going to be ringside for you, commentating on your fight. And then you go into the Olympics to call fights as well. So it's brilliant, isn't it, to see this for both you and Raven. And it's an inspiration to the others.
Absolutely. I'm super, super excited and incredibly proud to say that I'm going to be doing commentary at the Olympics this year. for me to be over in Paris, watching a lot of the female fighters and male fighters that I actually know personally and I've worked with, have sparred with, and these people are going over to fight for their Olympic dreams, and I'm getting to commentate on it. It's incredible. It gives me goosebumps right now, and I'm actually really excited about it. And, it's going to be something really special for me to look back on, and a good starting point for me to build on my commentary career, hopefully for a future. But yeah, I'm very proud of that, and I'm pleased to see that Raymond's going to be doing comms for my fight, because we're really good pals, and it's always good to have your pals commentating on your fights, because they're very honest as well.
She's great, Raven, isn't she? And it's good that we're working at Summit alongside both of you.
Exactly. On Summit, we can both actually work together and actually work more on our commentary. And we were talking about it the other day. We're just saying it's an area that we weren't expecting to end up in. But now that we're actually both going down that route, we're finding it really interesting and a fascinating place to be.
I think it's terrific. And Tasha says, I know she's won her world titles and fights in the ring and loves that probably more than anything. But she also is really proud to be doing what she's doing the other side of the ropes and becoming a real media commentator, an analyst, a pundit, and a very good one. And there's so many of you out there that are good, I think, and that just haven't had that opportunity yet.
Definitely. And I think it's something that everybody needs to get used to doing, especially as a boxer, because as a boxer, you don't just have to fight. You actually have to do interviews. You have to speak to people. You have to meet people. People have to know your personality. So it's really important to learn how to speak in front of a camera and with a microphone in your face. If you're not used to that, it's definitely something that's an experience to build on. But yeah, there's a lot of great talkers out there and people who actually are very passionate about this sport. So it'd be nice to hear from them.
And you've got such an interesting story. You haven't won every fight, but you've been in every fight. But you've also got the music career behind you as well. And you love to teach and inspire kids. So how do you fit everything in and where do you want to sort of go? Which direction? It's fighting first and foremost for the next, 2 or 3 years, and then we think again.
Yeah, you know what? I've never put an end date on my fighting career. No doubt I'll have to be dragged kicking and screaming out of the ring by my coach. But, for me, it's my main goal, my main passion at the moment. And it's a finite career. You can't box forever, no matter how many people we see getting into the ring in the 50s or whatever. I do not intend to be doing that. I intend to enjoy this career and get the most out of it and achieve the best for myself. And then after that, I will look on to go and do other things, hopefully commentary, probably more of my music. That's really my first passion. So it's something that I'm hopefully going to be having my whole life and I can take part in that, But this is my focus at the moment and I'm fully focused on getting that world title. So working hard.
I think it's really important, isn't it? And that's why I've joined Summit Sports, is that I care about athletes, about sportswomen, about sportsmen, and also I care about what happens afterwards, because I think that transition into life after is very, very hard. You've been focused solely on boxing. You've had the music and you've had experiences other than just getting in the ring. And I think so many fighters don't have that, and they get to that position where what are we going to do next? So it is that help, that advice, that guidance, that education, isn't it, through your careers so that you're set up for a good future.
Absolutely. And, I feel very blessed to have had my experience behind me from obviously my music background, studying at conservatoires, performing all around the world. I played with orchestras everywhere, and I've traveled a lot with my music as well as my boxing. So for me, I think actually I'm actually very well set up for setting up a business or performing or finding different ways and teaching. Like I've taught in schools, I teach in gyms, I teach, that's a whole other area of my career that I already have, but a lot of boxers don't have this. And that's why Summit Sports is amazing, because they're going to be there to help guide people into that second part when they finish. Because there's so many fighters that finish and then you've got this gaping hole because you don't know what you're going to do with your time. You haven't made plans for it because boxing is so all-encompassing. I wasn't expecting for it to take over my whole life when I started it. I started out very much like... It's
a mad business too, isn't it?
No, I started very much like boxing and music. Okay, music's my main focus, doing the boxing on the side. Then it became 50-50. And now it's very much 75-25, 80-20, and it's one of those things. It's taken up a lot more time than I thought it was. And it is all-encompassing, but it's that drive and passion that we have. And I think when fighters don't have that anymore, they have to find a different way around it. And this is where you guys are going to be amazing. It's going to be great to have you there to help guide, especially athletes and fighters, especially in their career once they finish and once they sort of retire from actually being in the ring.
Hannah, you're a brilliant communicator. You've got a fantastic story behind you. You're an inspiration and becoming that. Do you think it's also because you haven't won everything and you've had to come back from hard nights and defeats? And it's real, isn't it?
Absolutely real. And, I think that's probably one of my main attributes. I'm a very resilient person. It's how I was brought up. I got that from my late mother. And, she taught us all how to be sort of, dust ourselves down after a defeat or a loss or something that didn't work out the way that we wanted it to. And the world will not end just because that didn't go the way you wanted it to. You've got to find a way around it, got to work around it and find another route. So me and the team, we always have this strong phrase of, we'll find a way. Find a way to make it work and, and make it great for us to go on and do something else. There's always another route. But I think sometimes fighters can feel like, a loss is the end of the career. And that is not true. I've been in some incredible fights my whole career. I've never turned down a fight. I've always taken those opportunities to come to me. And not all of them went my way, but I learned everything that I have now from all of these fights. Wins, losses, fights that never even happened, fights that I prepared for that didn't happen in the end. And I've learned so much from this, and I've been around some amazing people all over the world doing it. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
You learn, don't you? And setbacks inspire comebacks, of course. That's what it's all about. And real stories that grip us, you lose 2 or 3 and suddenly they're finished. But no, there's resilience. There's always another opportunity somewhere around, especially in boxing.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that fighters, especially young fighters coming through, need to remember that, we're not all here to finish something like 50-0. That's just not ever going to happen. And some of your best fights, you might give it everything and it'll be your best performance ever, but it's just not enough to win. And that doesn't mean that you're finished and you're never going to be a world champion or you're never going to achieve that goal that you wanted to do. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to dust yourself down, shake yourself off and get back in the gym and work hard and go for the next shot that's coming up.
And you're working really hard in the gym, and it's a great team here. And tell us a little bit about them and what to expect on the 26th, because you've got 1 or 2 friends on there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. My teammate Marie Claire, he's making his UK debut on the same show as me in Box Nation. I'm really excited that he's going to be there. Obviously, the whole team will be together, so that'll be him and Noel out for their first time together, and I'm 100% guarantee you're going to have an explosive night of boxing from the pair of us. So yeah, it's going to be good. Both of us going to be boxing in Liverpool. Noel, obviously our head coach, he'll be there with us, and also Andrew Usher, who does our sports science side of things, and he also does all of our conditioning and all the miserable stuff that we do outside of boxing. So yeah, he'll be there as well, and it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a fantastic night of boxing in Liverpool. It's my first time boxing there, so it's another city I can tick off my list. It's a great fighting city, Liverpool, so it's an honour to fight there, and I'm hopefully going to put on a great show for the fans.
And I'm a big Liverpool fan. It's my favourite city in the world. I'll certainly be there to cheer you on. And what's the plan after that? So you've got the Olympics, and then, which will be an amazing experience, and then back in the ring, autumn, hopefully for a world title fight.
Absolutely, that's the main focus. I'm looking to have that world title fight by the end of the year. So autumn, late autumn, I don't really mind where it is, when it is, but obviously it has to be after I finish commentary for the Olympics, and then I can get into my training camp and give it 100,000,000% and go all out to win that 3rd world title and take it home to Scotland.
The fire's burning, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it never dimmed. And I think people forget this about me. I think they forget that I've got that drive and that hunger more so than a lot of people. And I'm going out there to prove to myself this is where I belong.
Great to see you.
Great to see you too.